Hey, what's going on, guys? Felix here, and today I want to talk to you about my excuse I was giving myself about how I do not have time and how I got around it. So I think you guys have heard, right? I have a daughter, and I have a day job as well, and I have my podcast that I run, and I also have this podcasting business that I'm starting up, where we're selling podcasting courses and coaching to help people get their podcast up and going. Go to podcastingsecrets.co if you want to learn more about it. So I work. I wake up at like 6 o'clock, go to the gym, and then go to work around 9 or 10. Get home at like 6 o'clock. Then we have family time from 6 to like 8, and then 8 to 9 we get the baby to bed, and about 9 o'clock, right about now, she's getting ready for bed. We're wrapping things up, and I'm hopping on here. Then I have time basically from 9 to 12 basically to work, and that's what I was doing for a while. I was working from 9 to 12, and then I started working only from 9 to 11 because I was a little tired. I want to end the night earlier, and then eventually 9 to 10. Then eventually I just would go right to bed. I was just like super tired, super exhausted. I wasn't getting anything done, and I felt like I was moving backwards, or I wasn't making progress. And when you're not making progress, you feel like you're moving backwards, and that really bothered me a lot because I felt like I was finally getting traction with this, with podcasting secrets, and I really need to get back on track. And I have a growing to-do list that felt like it was, if I didn't get it done, then I could not successfully start this or get this business moving along. So I read this blog post. So I was thinking like, okay, the issue though is that I'm so tired at the end of the day. I went to work, spent time with the family, or went to the gym, walked the dog, got the baby ready for bed. And the night, I'm like exhausted. I'm like physically exhausted, but more so mentally exhausted. I can't use my brain power on the tasks that are necessary for me to market and strategize for my business. So I started thinking, what if I use the most precious time of my day, which is when I just wake up because I got the rest I needed, my brain is rested, it's ready to go. What if I use that time, and instead of using it for my day job, I use it on my business, what I care about more. So where do I start my day working on my business? The issue though is that the baby gets up at like 5:30, and it's pretty much go time from there on. So what I started doing earlier this week was that, kind of coincidentally, I read this blog post called, this concept of sacred time. Sacred time is basically any time where you need 100% of your effort, your brain power, to be focused. And then there's also half time, which is you only need half of your brain time to focus. For example, cooking dinner, you really only need like half your attention. And the way that you can tell is that if you're cooking dinner and all of a sudden you get interrupted, can you easily get back into cooking mode? I think the answer is yes. But when you're doing something like, planning out your marketing, or writing a sales copy, or building my sales funnel, like all that kind of stuff, if it gets interrupted, it kills your momentum, and it kills your train of thought, and it really just kills that session, or it takes a lot of time to ramp back up. And that is the kind of task that should be reserved for sacred time. The issue though is that sacred time is hard to find when you have a busy schedule. So, and it also needs to be used at a time where you have the mental energy to take on the tasks that require 100% of your focus. So what I started doing was that I was like, what if I woke up earlier? And I did something crazy, man. Earlier this week, I started waking up at 3 a.m. So I'll go to bed when the baby goes to bed around 10, or she goes to bed around now, but I get to bed around 10, sleep until 3:30 a.m., get up, work from 3 to 3:30 to like 5:30. It's about 2.5 hours of work in the morning. And I was like thinking like, it's going to be so dark out, I'm not going to be able to do this. But I started doing it, and I actually felt I killed it. I got so productive. I got everything done I wanted to get done. I'm super focused. I have the mental energy to get things done. Even though it's super early in the morning, I have more mental energy than at the end of the day, because my brain has a time to rest and is ready to go at that time. So, I was surprised that I was able to do that. I think that the biggest lesson I learned was that the excuse of not having enough time is truly an excuse. It's really what you want to prioritize, and you also got to kind of think about, or I also had to kind of think about the non-conventional ways of working, of getting things done, of finding what works for me. And I had to break out of this. Every time I talked to an entrepreneur, that had kids, I asked them, or I wanted to learn more about when they found time to work on their business, and a lot of them would say that they start working on their business when a baby goes to sleep at like 9 o'clock at night until like midnight. And I started doing that too, but then I realized now that not everyone not everyone's working style is similar. So I started looking at what works for me, and that's kind of a big lesson, big theme in my life recently. Is like trying to find out what works for me and do things my way. So that was a big transformation for me. It was like realizing I'm not the same as everyone else, and I need to find what works for me. And what works for me is waking up at 3 a.m. and starting to work then. And you know, when you are trying to work on something, you don't have that much time. You really got to be super, super focused on only doing things that are high value, that are truly move the needle, and just forget about doing the rest or finding someone else to do it or just paying for an answer, just ignoring it. Sometimes ignoring it, you don't really got to get it done. And if you're thinking about starting a podcast, you can waste a lot of time. You waste a lot of time doing the wrong things. And that's why I built the Podcasting Secrets course. That's why I didn't just build it with what I know, but we went out and got top podcasters in their respective niches, respective categories to come on and teach how they would launch and grow their podcast from 0 subscribers to 1,000 subscribers. And if you are short on time, you feel like you don't have enough time, this is the blueprint. You follow this from beginning to end, and you will launch a successful podcast and you'll start growing it. And it's a lot easier than trial and error. Trial and error takes a lot more time and also kills your momentum, kills your motivation. You want to be able to know what you got to do and just move forward with full speed ahead. And that's what Podcasting Secrets is. If you want to grab the Podcasting Secrets course, just go to podcastingsecretscourse.com, and I'll see you on the inside. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.